Welcome back to FM Storey. We're into the second half of season 8 of our save, where we try to end the dominance of Celtic and Rangers in Scottish football. Things are going reasonably well, but we've had a bit of a downturn in the league. But we are in the last... Things are going pretty well, but we've had a few disappointing results in the league, and we're now 5 points adrift of Things are going well, but we've had a bit of a downturn in the league. We're 5 points behind Celtic, who are in second place with a game in hand on us, and we're 9 points behind Rangers, who are top of the table. As far as the Europa League is concerned, we've qualified for the last 16 pretty comfortably. So now it's time to focus on the league before the Europa League comes back. We do have a couple of days left in the January transfer window, and there has been a lot of interest in some of our players. Some of our players have had their heads turned, so it's quite possible that we will be losing a few more players before the end of the January transfer window. But without further ado, let's get into the action. So we're in the beginning of March, and we've got the round of 16 of the Europa League coming up. We've got the first leg away at Rapid Vienna. And I think the safe thing to say is, since the end of the last episode, our form has been a bit on the patchy side. Almost dreadful, you could say, at some point. We started with a 2-2 draw away at Hearts, which is very disappointing considering Hearts were second bottom at the time in the relegation playoff position, and we had to come from behind twice, and we actually required a 97th minute penalty from Jorge Rodriguez to secure the point. We then went into a game against Aberdeen where we managed to be 2-0 up, concede a goal, go 3-1 up. We then managed to go into a game against Aberdeen where we were 3-0 up just after the hour, and then conceded 2 late goals and were hanging on at the end. That was then followed by a terrible performance at home to St Johnstone in the Scottish Cup, which saw us knocked out in the 5th round. We then followed that up with a possibly even worse performance away at Dundee United, losing 2-1. And at that point, just nothing seemed to be working. Like, if you look at the run of games from December, when we played St Mirren in the league, we've only won sort of 5 games in all competitions, and a couple of those were European games. So we'd really had a bad run, especially in the league. So at that point, we took some inspiration from a video from Hood Gaming and went with 3 up top, rather than playing with the wide men. And it seems to have worked, but it's hard to tell because we have played 2 teams that are lower down the division since we changed the formation. So we started with a 5-0 victory at home to Queen's Park, who are bottom. We were 5-0 up at half-time, really comfortable performance. And then we went away to Ross County and scored 5 again. So hopefully we've managed to maybe turn a corner, but this next game against Rapid is going to be the first big test of that. As far as the transfer window is concerned, we didn't actually do any more business after the end of the last episode before the transfer deadline closed, but we did sell a couple of players in the transfer window for some relatively big money. Enrico Kers we sold back to Germany, back to Mainz. It was an experiment that didn't work out. He looked like he was a high potential player, just never really developed, and basically cut our losses because he was getting paid too much money. So we've moved him back to Germany, to Mainz, and then we sold Dave Oliver to Napoli for 18.25 million, which isn't bad considering he never played a game for us, having signed him on a free transfer from Gateshead. But now obviously we've got this big game against Rapid, and hopefully it'll prove that the form's turned around, or we may be looking for a new formation for the second leg. So this is the team we're going into the first leg with. We are playing the 3 up top, so we're playing with Casanova through the middle as an advanced forward, with Shimahira and Kerr either side of him. We do have some issues with the registration of the squad. We don't have enough homegrown players. So when it looked like some of the players were leaving at the end of January, we took them out of the squad when we needed to do the registration to get some of the other players in. Unfortunately, that means the likes of Babadi, who was looking like he was on his way out, and more importantly, Jorge Rodriguez, who in the last couple of weeks has been a revelation, aren't in the Europa League squad. Rodriguez, actually, we accepted an offer from Newcastle for him, and he turned it down. That's the only reason he's still at the club. But thankfully, given his performance in the last couple of games, he is still here. But unfortunately, we'll only have him for league games for the rest of the season. Right, so we're going with the 4-3-3. They're going with a 4-2-3-1. Hopefully, we can create enough chances to get a result in this first leg. Right, free kick for them. We're attacking down the right-hand side here. We've got a cross into the back post. And that is one of the issues we've got. Obviously, playing Danny Smith, who really is a winger at right back. His positioning isn't great. He got caught under the ball. And Zebra couldn't keep it out. Not the start we were looking for. Right, they're attacking again down this right-hand side. Ertl gets across and again to the back post. Again, Danny Smith gets beaten in the air, but this time Zebra can save it. Right, Danny Smith into Romeo. Klemenko wide to Dimov in loads of space. He's starting because Matsson's suspended. Back to Romeo. Across to Klemenko. Kokora, who'd only come on a couple of minutes earlier because Medina had gone off with a recurrence of a rib injury he suffered in the last game. But Dimov finds Romeo, squares it into Klemenko, knocks it on to Kokora, has loads of time to pick his spot and levels the tie 1-1. Not much else happening in this first half. They've got a free kick on that right hand side, again across. This time Danny Smith gets it clear, but they're going to come back at us. Oh, Smith's won it back again into Elise, who goes back to Zebra, who then swings it across to Dimov. We're not really getting much further forward here. Right, Romeo, Edstrom to Klemenko. They're pressing hard in that midfield, but it's hopefully creating some space wide. Smith with room to move into. Down the line for Shimahira. Pulls it across. And again, and somehow they've scrambled it clear. And now they're on the attack. And there we have it, half-time. A relatively even first half, looking at the chances. 1-1, but we need to be much better in the second half. And try and take a lead into the second leg, hopefully. No changes at half-time because we were growing into the half, so hopefully we can start the second half in the way we ended the first. Right, a goal kick for them that's gone long. Elise wins the header, but it goes straight to their centre-half. Now they're attacking down the left-hand side. Cross to the back post. It's headed clear. Romeo picks it up. And then just dilly-dallies on it, and they've won it back. Again, cross in. And just really, really poor. We weren't concentrating at all. And now we're behind again. No one got out to close the cross down, and 3 defenders in there. None of them reacted to the cross coming in. Right, throw in for them. Again down that right hand side. And then another cross in. This time Leon King cuts it out and then clears it long. Shimahira flicked it on, but their defender nicks it and comes all the way up the pitch. And that was far too easy to get in on that left-hand side, on that right-hand side for them. And they're going to, the length of this highlight, they must be getting a pretty decent chance. Cross to the back post. And luckily the header just loops over the top of the bar. Right, very late on in injury time, they've gone along with a goal kick. Elise wins the header. Kokora out to King. It goes back to Zebra. Edstrom to Dimov. We've gone back to Edstrom. We're not really... Edstrom into Ibrahimovic. Kokora into Shimahira in the box. And somehow, I'm not sure that we deserve that, but somehow we've scrambled a 94th minute equaliser to level the tie. Lovely finish in the end. And there we are, full time, 2-2 draw in the away leg in the first leg. We need to be so much better in the second leg if we're going to stand a chance of getting through to the quarterfinals, which is the board's aim for the season. So hopefully, I think we don't have a game before the second leg, so hopefully in the second leg we can be much better. So going into the second leg, we've made one change to the team that started the first leg. Ian Matson was suspended for the first leg, so he's back, and Jonko Dimov drops to the bench. And hopefully we can play somewhat better than we did in the first leg. Right, throwing for them deep in our half. But we've won it back. And we've gone long, but no one's going to get anywhere near that. And they're just going to come straight back at us here. Right, over the top. Was he onside? Yes, he was. That's really actually a worse start than we had in the first leg, and certainly not what we needed. He made a run. In fact, he made 2 runs the second time. Edstrom just let him go. Don't know whether he was trying to catch him offside, but didn't do it. And unfortunately, we're 1-0 down. Right, throw Smith back to Elise. Elise down the line to Smith. Can he get the ball in the box? No, it goes back to Elise. Klemenko wide on the left to Matson. Can he get it across? Yes. Shimahira at the far post. And we've immediately struck back less than a minute after they've taken the lead. And we've levelled it 1-1 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate. Matson just gets to the byline, stands the cross up to the back post, and Shimahira got up above his defender and gave the keeper no chance. Right, Matson with a corner from the right. It's headed up in the air. Casanova was there to head home. And for the first time in the tie, we're in front. So Matson's corner towards the centre of the box. They headed it up in the air. And Casanova had an easy job of just turning it home and making it 2-1 on the night. But straight from the kick-off, they're now attacking down our left-hand side, down our right-hand side. And we've pressed them, we've won it back. Shimahira onto Kerr, Casanova. And Medina scored, but how that got through the goalkeeper, I don't know. But 3-1 up, and we've completely turned this tie around with that late equaliser in the first leg, and then having gone behind in this tie. Medina, it's not the best shot, but catches the keeper completely by surprise. And that's 3-1 on the night and 5-3 on aggregate. There we are, half time in the second leg, 3-1 up on the night, 5-3 up in aggregate. It's a completely different situation to what it was going into injury time of the first leg. But we could have been even further up. Casanova missing that penalty. We just need to make sure we don't do anything stupid in the second half and make sure we maintain the advantage to take us through to the quarterfinals. Not much happening in the first 15 minutes of the second half here, which is ideal. If it stays like this for the whole 90 minutes, it would be great, but now they've got a free kick on the edge of the box. Seidel to step up to take it and couldn't get it on target. If it was on target, I think Zebra was going to struggle to get there. But and then from the goal kick, Zebra goes long. Casanova flicks it on. Defensive mix-up, curls in behind and just whips that into the top corner past the keeper. 4-1 up on the night, 6-3 up on aggregate, and hopefully even we can't throw this one away from here. Just a long ball up, Casanova gets up well, flicks it on, two defenders leave it for each other, allows Kerr straight through on goal, and he just fires it past the keeper. Right, so we've brought some fresh legs on just to hopefully try and see out the rest of this tie. They've gone long with a free kick, but Zebra comes out to collect it. And then he goes long. Casanova went up and for the flick on Romeo down to Matson. Down the line, Romeo into Barcola. Casanova, and he was onside. Casanova's been certainly one of the bright spots since we signed him in January. Although his arrivals kind of coincided with a bit of a poor run in January in particular, but Casanova got across the keeper at the near post, put it past him, got his second for the night. Just about onside. And that's 5-1 on the night, 7-3 on aggregate. And at this point, we're pretty comfortably rolling into the quarterfinals. And there we have it, full time, really impressive performance. Best performance for quite some time there. 5-1 at home, having conceded such an early goal. 7-3 on aggregate, and we're through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We've made it to the beginning of April. We've played 2 games since the second leg against Rapid. We won 2-0 at home against St Mirren, and then we struggled to a 3-2 victory away at Kilmarnock. We were 2-0 up. They pulled it back to 2-2. We then went ahead, and then they had a goal disallowed in injury time for offside, which saw us secure the 3 points. We're currently sat third in the table. We are 7 points behind Rangers, 8 points behind Celtic. So pretty much I think the chances of finishing above them this season have gone. Again, it's just going to be a case of making sure we secure that third position and finish as the best of the rest. We are obviously unfortunately out of the Scottish Cup, but we are still in the Europa League. We've got the quarter-final coming up, and as you can see, we've been drawn against Roma. And if we were able to make it past Roma in the quarter-final, we would get Malmo or Olympiacos in the semi-final. So you'd have to think if we can get past Roma, we've got a pretty decent chance of making it to the final. Obviously, the Roma game tie is going to be very tough. Malmo knocked out Tottenham in the round of 16 as well. Certainly, the other half of the draw looks a bit more difficult in terms of all 4 teams. They're pretty decent. Whereas, hopefully, if we can, like I say, if we can vanquish Roma, we can make it through to the semi-final and make it through to the final as well. And there we have it, the end of another episode where our form has been all over the place. Scottish Cup was dreadful the way we went out of it. The league, we've managed to slip and slip and slip. Thankfully, the change to the formation seems to have worked. I think we've won every game since we tweaked the formation. But we are in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And if we can get through that, we've got a decent chance of making the final. So join us next time to see how far we can carry on that journey in Europe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.